morning, Ranger Dave for West Valley Rural. Today we're going to be talking about milking machines. Now, if you've got dairy goats, it's something to consider. If you only got a couple, well, maybe not. But you get beyond 4 milkers in a milking day, you might. It's time to consider it. So we're going to be going through a video talking about how we do our milking machine and how we do our milk with our milking machine. One is so you can see, well, maybe it's something to consider for you. Also, I thought, I need a video so whenever we have somebody farm sit for us, we don't have to explain the process again and again and again. I could say, hey, watch the video, and you'll have all you need to know. So we're going to be doing that. So if you're getting into milking goats, you got to, it's a schedule. I'm up before the sun. We're up before the sun. Because essentially, it depends on the time of year. Sometimes you got to do it when it's winter time, way before the sun. Milking goats, you need to be milking them. They have to be on a schedule, so they're typically about 12 hours apart. Now you could adjust it, it's 12 hours, but it's 12 hours apart. Typically, it's going to be, right when they're feeding. Because that's spaced about 12 hours apart. But I've seen some people create, way into the evening, because that's when they've got their goats on that schedule. And now for us it's dawn and dusk, for the most part of the year. So we toss the hay, we're getting ready to milk it. So we're going to be starting the milking and pretty soon, and let's get started. All right, I've got everything set for the cleanup. For cleaning up, you're going to need 2 buckets. One is for soap and one is for rinse water. Make sure you always mark the one for soap, because you don't want to be, the soap will always be the soap bucket and the rinse bucket will always be the rinse bucket, so make sure you mark that. You'll want to fill both up with hot water, of course, soap, just a pump of Dawn, and the soap bucket will do. I've got everything all set. I've got the jars and the coffee is going, and we just have to get started. All right, so we got the feed and grain going.
Yeah, this is my special mix.
What do you put in that feed and grain? What's our mix?
So this is, I use Country Companion goat feed, and then it's got sunflower seeds and beet pulp. Parts are kind of hard to
see.
So
beet pulp, sunflower seeds, and the brand we prefer is Country Companion.
Yeah, Country Companion. There's also
sweet feed.
A protein supplement in there.
There's also a protein supplement.
I can't remember the name of the protein supplement.
But
it's like stupid high in protein.
So that's awesome. That's all mixed up.
Yup.
So now we're getting.
Ladies love it.
So now we're getting.
They don't like it when I run out of my mix and I give them plain grain for a day or 2 until I mix up more again.
Right.
Because they're picky little butts.
All right, so this is all set.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things we have to do around here, because we get the free-range chickens, I made these boards that have to go on top for what's left. Otherwise, there's nothing left in these buckets from the free-range chickens.
They make a big mess.
Got some nest boxes up here for our chickens. All right. We're ready to go. I got the stroller. Ruby's got the first 2. Believe it or not, essentially goats remember the order that they come. It's very much important to develop a routine. Routine is incredibly important. These animals get in the habit of who goes first, and they get confused if you don't do the same thing again and again. And they get used to the same milk stand again and again and again. So don't go changing which milk stand they're on. Nope.
She takes her time. All the goats have their way that they get on the milk stand,
right.
And she just takes her time.
Now, do you need a ramp for some? Yes, you do. Especially get into a mature milker.
Yeah.
You do not.
7 years old.
7 years old. Gwen is 7 years old.
Yeah.
Gwen no longer likes to jump. When Gwen was younger, she would hop right up. She's a mature milker, and she does not hop no more.
Yeah,
So
after she fell off once.
yeah, I had to build a ramp. She was getting harder to. Okay, we wipe down. Wipe the teats. That gets the teats kind of clean and moist. Get some of the dirt off. Also, they get some suction quicker. If there you go.
All right, and then we'll just turn this guy on.
You want to hear that pop, click, 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 click. If you no click, you got no suction. There you go.
There.
We got both of them going.
Now we just wait.
We just wait. Yeah. So
I love this thing because it allows me to like multitask actually. So if I'm in a hurry or whatever, I will actually go out and toss the hay right now.
Right. So if you got in a hurry, you bring your 2 milkers up and then you go toss hay. So there are with having a milking machine, it leaves.
Yeah.
You get more options in the process.
Makes it very great for multitasking and saving hands.
Yeah. So how much milk is Gwen given?
These 2 guys are doing probably just under a gallon a day.
Yeah, these are 2 main milkers, our oldest does.
Yeah, we have Gwen, she's 7. And so I'm starting to get to the point where every baby I get from her is amazing and a gift. So, and then Hallie is like 5?
Yeah, she's like about 5-ish.
Yeah, I think she might be 5.5 now. She's like early, like January.
Yeah, she gives lovely babies.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's my one that gives her who gives quads and such.
Right.
But you can see kind of actually just looking right now the conformation wise, Hallie is a lot more dairy just because of how much those hips and stuff like that show versus Gwen and such. It's not quite as dairy. They don't show quite as much. She's a lot stockier, which I love.
Yeah. Well, she's a good milk and meat side.
Yeah.
For her.
And these are normal. Both these guys are actually in really, especially one, she's in really good condition, honestly, for, I think she's 5-6 months lactation.
Right.
And whatnot. So, because she's still got plenty of meat on her ribs and whatnot. So, dairy animals. They look skinny, but they actually aren't.
What about what about the udder attachments? I mean, that's one thing that people, when I see people buy goats, is sometimes their udder attachments are horrible.
So, Gwen probably has the best udder attachments out of the 2 of them, especially when it comes to fore udder and whatnot. Hallie needs a lot better fore udder attachments.
Right.
They aren't,
you don't want it just hanging. I mean, you want a lot of attachment for that udder, not just just hanging down there.
When they're milking and whatnot, especially if they're heavy milkers, they have to be able to support all of that.
Right.
And not just because over time, like even Gwen's udder, as nicely as it is attached and such, it's still, the attachments are still getting weaker as she gets older.
Because
this is like her 6th freshening.
Right.
She's
been
milking for a long time.
So I mean, you're 7 years old. Look how well that's hanging there. It's very well attached. Another thing is like the different teats, the orifices. Just I prefer. All right, we're ready. Yep. Okay. So we get on to the next ones. Comes right off. Hung up on the wall. And time to get them out. Oh, that's right. You got.
So milk machine works great, but it is not going to get
every little drop.
So milk out. So you'll see, I actually get several. It depends on the goat and the teat. When actually there's just because the way her teeth are, like, they're very big.
Yeah,
so
she's got one teeth right there. You can tell the difference. She's got one teeth that just never stops giving.
So.
But so you can probably skip getting that last little bit,
but
but
your
production will gradually drop. You want your production to stay steady. You're going to try to get every last little drop out of there, and that's when it just naturally knows to keep producing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you leave milk in there, and they're gonna think, oh, I don't need to produce quite as much. So there's not too much in there.
But again, milking machine saves your hands.
Now I've done like barely 2 minutes of that.
Rather than try to do the whole thing.
Rather than 20. So see, just with the way Gwen's teeth are, she's got quite a bit.
She still gives even.
And I think it's kind of her big udder too. She's got a very meaty udder.
Look at that! Look at that front end attachment there.
Yeah,
as well.
So that is very sucked in
and this again, she's
attached.
Look how that's the main thing that people just don't consider when they're trying to go, the udder attachments. All right, we're good.
Pretty much done.
That's Bubbles. See, this is again routine. They know where they need to go, and the goat knows.
I think Bubbles is the only one I can switch his hands up with.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. But they're still. These two are still learning.
Yeah. So Bubbles is a first freshener, and that's why her udder is not that big. It's okay, baby. It's okay. So she's maybe producing like just under a half gallon a day.
Okay.
She's not a big producer. So she's still got some of that first freshener greenness to her.
Yeah, see when they're brand new, see how she's squatting?
Yeah, like she's not used to it yet.
Yeah.
Still learning.
Goats would do that when they're just new to milking. They'll do that just like, practically, she was always like sitting on the bucket.
She was doing that.
She was essentially, it was almost painful trying to get your wrist in there to try to milk her.
Yeah, so, but she's gotten a little bit better, and I tried trying to break her of that habit. I think it's just something she's going to have to grow out of.
Right.
So, she has gotten better, but she still does it sometimes.
But that's, again, if you're new to milking, you're going to notice that. The brand new ones will do that kind of squat thing. Until after 1 or 2 seasons, they're used to the whole process.
Mm-hmm. And the more you can handle them, get the milk stand trained, touch their udder and stuff like that, all before they even have babies on the ground, the better off you're going to be. My other 3 first fresheners are all doing amazing because I've spent the time where I just went out with them once, twice a day.
Yeah, it's a matter of spending time. Yeah,
get them on their udder, got them used to being touched there. That helps a lot. It helps a lot. It's still going to be new to them getting like milked and whatnot, that kind of pressure and the pulling and stuff like that. And then the sounds and everything here, the milk machine, but you're way better off if you get them over because otherwise you're starting with a half wild animal essentially up here.
Right.
And when you have a particularly stubborn one, I always tell people all you have to do is just be a little bit more stubborn than they are.
Yeah. You got to out stubborn a stubborn animal.
Yeah, and you just got to do it a little bit. You just got to be a little bit more stubborn. So you get that, if they're like being particularly ornery, you get that milk however you can. If you have to milk one-handed the whole time and hold, I've done that plenty of times where I hold the leg.
And then milk one hand.
So they don't kick.
Right.
And I'm milking one-handed the whole time. You do what you got to do.
And they will eventually, the bad habits typically fall away over time.
They learn that they can't win.
Yeah.
She's pretty much done. She gets milked out rather quick since it's just a little bit.
Off we go back to the house. use a coffee filter strainer.
Milking. We get an occasional hair that comes through this, but it does a really
Yeah,
good
the coffee
job.
filter strainer, it's going to pretty much catch most everything.
Yeah.
All right. And our typical haul in the morning is about 2 jars.
Yeah, we have a little bit extra.
And a little bit extra,
but
occasionally goes to the...
Yeah, but we don't
the
usually
cats
keep
cats
that.
like it. Don't we do a little bit to the dogs?
It's good for them. And one less jar to deal with because it's like not enough quite yet for a full jar. Once we have our other 3 milkers.
Yeah, that'll be plenty.
Yeah.
And then you gradually start freezing it for when they're out of
We'll
season.
be starting to freeze it for our off season.
Yeah, so we have fresh milk year round because we stack it up. We freeze it in freezer bags and we stack it up for use in the winter. And then it goes into our deep freezer to cool off. Bet you haven't seen one of those in a while. 1958 Kelvinator. Still works. So fast chilled milk is better. So these will sit in the freezer about an hour.
Yeah, it gets rid of the ever so slight goaty taste. Is
Right,
what that
right. So you chill it faster, there's always less goaty taste. But yeah, I bought this bad boy for $10 back in the 1980s, and it still runs. This is when things were built to last. All right, back out to the barn with our clean buckets. All right, you set the lid back on top.
Yeah.
You start it back up. You get both lines. You dip the whole thing into the hot soap bucket first. Get it fully immersed. All the way immersed. And then you're letting it suck. You can kind of see you want to see soap going through the lines. Then you want to hit those, I don't know what, the button. You want to hit the buttons that kind of stirs it up.
Yeah, that helps. Like it makes it suck even more air in and whatnot.
Yeah,
So
it
then
adds
you
air to the mix.
Air and just brings all that water and whatnot up in there. So we do it to all of them.
Yeah.
So they're all.
How often do you clean everything?
I
You
try
do
to
it
do 2 weeks.
About
No
every
less than
2 weeks, you take apart everything and clean it up.
Sometimes it gets to 2.5. Just 'cause
Total
the schedule
disassembly. You
and
do a
whatnot,
total
no more.
disassembly and everything, and then you clean it with what? Everything gets soaked in what?
So I soak them in the more soap, but vinegar. as
Vinegar,
well.
soap and vinegar, and then a full rinse, and then you let all the lines hang out.
Right.
Yeah, so you gotta watch for kinks in the line. If you're not getting this, you might have a kink in the line. That especially happens in summer when essentially things are. So those things got fully immersed. Hitting the buttons.
So then you fill that entire bucket with water, essentially. You don't want to do any less than the amount of milk that you put through there
Right.
with water, and you want more, hopefully, more water going
More
through
water.
there than you have milk.
Right.
So just be
No.
certain that it's all clean.
And everything just
now they're sparkling again.
air dry. All right. And we just dump the water and we're done. Aren't we done?
Yep, we're all done except for putting stuff back on the feeders and whatnot.
Right. So you're getting your feeders ready to go.
Yep.
And for us, because we got the free range chickens. Otherwise, if you don't do this in our place, chickens would eat that all up before the end of the day. And lights out. We're all done. Well, I hope that was helpful. Now, for this video this morning, we only milked 3. We got 6 milkers, and that's one of the chief considerations if you're thinking about getting a milking machine. How many are you milking? You do 1 or 2, maybe you don't need a milking machine. You get past 3, and it becomes a serious consideration, saving your hands and saving time. And yeah, it becomes it makes what could be a long chore. It just cuts down on the time a little bit, and like it saves your hands. Your hands can get pretty tired if you were hand milking out 6 goats on your own. Think about how long that would take, and how your hand's going to feel afterward. So yeah, a milking machine is a really serious consideration for some people. You've seen our process here, and like I say, we only milked. Still got three does that got the kids on them. So when you got does with kids on them, it's like their first fresheners. Of course, you want to leave all that milk for the kids, but do you want to finish them off in the evening? Why would you, even if they have nothing? Again, you want to start those first fresheners off on a routine. Routine is important. They got to learn the process. Otherwise, you're fighting them. And like my daughter was saying, you got to out stubborn them. Some can learn real easy, and some it just takes a little bit of effort. And you got to be stubborn and patient all at the same time. Well, I'm Ranger Dave. This has been West Valley Rural, and we'll see you next time.